Hello. Welcome back. Today we're talking about, the rise of the Nazis. So let's begin. Quick recap. After World War One, the Treaty of Versailles was put on Germany. And if you remember from my last video, this included, like small army, total, like recognition that they caused the war, even though they didn't, a lot of money, and what a lot of German-speaking lands as well, like Danzig and Alsace-Lorraine. Memel was like took from them, and a sort of stab in the back myth had come about from this. So um, the German people were angry. So a after the war, the German Kaiser or king fled Germany, and so Germany had to form a new democracy known as the Weimar Republic, which was quite weak and ineffective at its job. Um, in 1919, a group of communists known as the Spartakists rose up who tried to overthrow the government. They were led by Rosa Luxemburg and Karl Liebknecht. Sorry if I butchered that. Hmm. While the revolt failed, the fear of communism had ingrained itself on a lot of Germans, and the government reliant on right-wing militia did like mm, the German government's reliance on right-wing militias like the Freikorps didn't do well with the already unstable government. In 1921, and the German Workers' Party, or DAP, was established by Anton Dexter and Karl Hall. Later, it was renamed to the National Socialist Democratic Workers' Party, also known as the NCDAP, or Nazi. Hitler joined this party, eventually being a spy for the government, but it sounded kind of communist. But when he found out it was not communist and actually super right wing, he was like, count me in. So he joined the party and quickly rose through the ranks, becoming its leader, and he gave it this, ski with the swastika and the black white red. Hmm. And this is what the Nazis believed. They believed there was a natural order with the Aryan people, which are blonde people with blue eyes, stuff, on top of the master race, and at the very bottom were the Jews, which the Nazis considered vermin, poisoning their bloodline like a parasite. Uh, the Nazis also believed in the idea of Lebensraum, or in English, living space, where they wished to move east and deport the Slavic people, um, which are basically in Eastern Europe, like the Russians, Ukrainians, Poles, Czechs, hmm, and make the Aryans settle there. They also promised the German people that they would completely undo the Treaty of Versailles and make Germany great again by any means. Needless to say, this is a load of rubbish. Um, and if you still believe in this, you're very stupid. Just thought I'd say that. Like, if there's any Nazis watching, you're stupid. Anyways, um, beginning in 1923, the economy had got so mad that the German government just tried to print more money, but this only made the money lose value. And for instance, in 1919, one British pound was worth around 250 marks roughly, or alternatively, $1 was worth 32 German marks. But I do know I have some American viewers. By the end of 1923, one British pound was worth 17 trillion marks, or in USD, 4.2 trillion marks. And money had eventually become absolutely worthless. Like people using it as toys or fuels fire. You only need a whole wheelbarrow of cash just to buy one loaf of bread. It was pretty bad. The Nazis saw how bad this was. So on November 8th, 1923, inspired by Mussolini in Rome, they tried to coup the local Bavarian government and then coup the German government. However, this failed and Hitler was sent to jail. However, the judges were sympathetic towards Hitler, So they only gave Hitler 5 years, which he only served 9 years. Hmm. While he was in prison, he wrote a book called Mein Kampf, which in English translates to My Struggle, where he firmly wrote out his goals for the German nation, like, rubbish strong nonsense, and, the rubbish. Hmm. During this time, a lot of the Nazi Party set up some paramilitary groups, such as the Stromberg, or SA, which were used to intimidate political opponents in Guard Party meetings, and the Schutzstaffel, or more famously known as the SS, were by Himmler, which was started as Hitler's private bodyguard. They were like grown to the Reich security force and be in charge of the horrible, horrible concentration camps. Um, Here is the SA symbol, and here is the SS symbol. Don't worry about getting mixed up because these guys, spoiler alert, they're not staying around for a lot longer. In 1929, um, in the US, they were giving Germany loans to help pay off the debt and get Germany back on its feet. And this was working well until 1929 when the stock market just collapsed, making the US poor and Germany even poorer. And people started moving to either the political left or right. Those popular right party being the Nazis, and the Nazis got very, very popular. In 1933, the Nazis had become essentially the biggest party in Germany, only just losing the election to President Hindenburg. But since they were the biggest party, Hindenburg decided to make Hitler Chancellor of Germany. Hmm. Um, just like 4 weeks later, the German government building, the Reichstag, was set on fire. Now, historians still debate who did it, with some even saying the Nazis themselves did it. However, the Nazis blamed the communists, so they made Hindenburg sign the Enabling Act, allowing Hitler to issue orders without government permission. Later, when Hindenburg died, Hitler basically used these wars to make himself a dictator and turn Germany into the Third Reich, completely destroying the Weimar Republic and setting up his machine of human suffering. And finally, in 1934, Hitler, now with complete power, decided to purge all of his political opposition, mainly the SA, which Hitler thought they had got too much power, and the leader of the SA wanted the SA itself to replace the German army. But Hitler did didn't want these rowdy drunks to be in charge of the army, so they got all of them making the army join Hitler's side. So now he had not just the state but the people and the military on his side. Anyways, I believe that's the end. My next history video is going to be on, World War II. But I might do other stuff in the meantime. I don't know. But yeah, I would like to thank you for watching. So thank you. Bye.